Hello and welcome to a new video of the Fahrschule Schaminet. Today we're going to deal with the priority signs. But don't be afraid. If you once understood the system, it will be very easy to deal with them. So, understand, don't learn by heart. To talk about the priority signs, we first should remind the right before left rule again. Concerning to this, once more the question if car number 1 or car number 2 has priority here. Right, it's car number 2's priority because this is a right before left crossing. But as we have a priority sign at the crossing, the right before left rule and its exceptions are overridden. We already described the exceptions in the video about the right before left rule. We do have 4 priority ruling signs, namely the sign give way, the sign stop give way, the sign priority at the next crossing, and the sign priority road. We can put the priority signs into 2 groups, namely the negative group, that means the signs which take our priority, and the positive group of signs that give us priority. Let's first deal with the negative group. Here we have 2 signs, the sign give way and the sign stop give way. But there must be a difference between these 2 signs, otherwise we only needed 1. Now what is the difference between these 2 signs? To answer the question, we'll first take a look at the give way sign. It's a triangle, white with a red frame and pointed to the bottom. If we come to a crossing with a give way sign, both the traffic from left and right have priority. Normally, on the crossing itself, there's a waiting line drawn on the floor. It is white, dashed and transfers to the direction of travel. It is recommended to wait at that place if there's any traffic having priority. But if the situation allows it, we don't have to wait. That means we can drive through without stopping. Of course, like always, we have to take care. Here, car number 1 has the give priority sign on its road. As you can see now, it is driving extremely slowly but doesn't stop. Let's look at it for clarification one more time. Therefore, it's best to look at the wheels. You see, they don't stop at all. Let's now compare the triangle sign give priority with the octagonal sign stop give priority. This sign is filled out red and there's also written stop within it. Therefore, it is normally named the stop sign. And because of this, we also want to talk of the stop sign in the further course of the video. The stop sign is the only sign where it is written in letters what we have to do. The only but decisive difference to the give way sign is that we have to stop here even if there is no traffic coming around. So the question that is given here is, where do we have to stop? Whilst the give way triangle is normally compared with a dashed waiting line, at the stop sign we have a solid stopping line. If it exists, it's in order to stop at it. But sometimes there are even stop signs without a stopping line. Now where do we have to stop in this case? If there is no stopping line, we stop at the line of sight. But the line of sight is not white and drawn on the floor. It's a line that depends on many, sometimes individual factors. It can change, for example, with the owned vehicle or parking vehicles at the side of the priority having road. For example, we sit higher on a motorcycle than in a car, and therefore we can oversee parking cars much earlier. Then we can put the line of sight more to the back. We see the position of the stop sign itself has got nothing to do with the position where we stop. We have to stop either at the line of sight or at the stopping line. Here we already see the stop sign. We can detect it even from the back at its octagonal shape. There's no traffic at all on the priority having road, but nevertheless both cars that come to the crossing have to stop at the stopping line. But how long has the vehicle to stand still? The Straßenverkehrsordnung doesn't tell us any time to stand still minimum. Nevertheless, we should stand still at least 3 seconds. As a rule of thumb, we can say that the car stands still when it shocks a little bit on the brake. After the shock we stay on the brake, count to 3, and then we can go on if the traffic situation allows it. Now let's deal with the positive priority signs. Like the negative priority signs, they have only a small but a decisive difference. But what difference is that? To answer this question, let's first take a look at the sign priority at the next crossing. It is white with a red frame, triangle shaped, pointed to the top, and with a crossing in the middle of it. Here also the question, does car number 1 or car number 2 have priority? In this case, the right answer is car number 1 has priority. That's because seen from the point of view of the driver, we have the sign priority at the next crossing. But this sign only gives me priority at the crossing where it stands. The next one could already be right before left. That means, if this sign gives me priority, I have to look for how the priority is ruled at each crossing again and again. But beware, there's an enormous danger to mix up the sign's priority at next crossing and the sign take care crossing with right before left. The left sign gives me priority even if someone is coming from the right, and the right sign says this crossing is ruled right before left. We already mentioned this in an earlier video. The sign priority at next crossing is the only priority sign with no individual shape. It is shaped like a danger sign, triangle and pointed to the top. Therefore, it could be mixed up with a danger sign very easily. And the sign, take care, crossing with priority from the right, is a danger sign. The last of our 4 priority ruling signs is the sign priority road. The sign is white with a yellow filling, square-shaped, and it stands on an edge. Like the sign priority at next crossing, this sign gives us priority. But what's the difference between these two signs? The sign priority road gives priority to the whole road. That means that we don't have to look at each crossing for the priority rule that's given there. But the priority road can also be ended up. This can be done in 3 ways. What ways are these? At first, it can be done by our negative priority signs. That means the sign give way and the stop sign. But we do also have the sign end of priority road. This looks like the priority road sign itself, but it's crossed out with 3 black stripes. The signs give way and stop sign end at the priority road, always at a crossing. But this sign can stand anywhere, even where we don't expect it. If the priority road is ended up at the next crossing, we have right before left. Unless there is one of the exceptions of right before left that we already mentioned, or we have the sign priority at the next crossing. Generally speaking, I can go if I have to give priority and see clearly that traffic that's coming from the left will turn right from the driver's point of view. But always, if there's only the smallest doubt, it's better to wait. But I always have to care about the priority of the contraflow traffic if I turn left. That means I have to give priority to the contraflow traffic that wants to turn right or go straight from its point of view. Maybe I have to stop and wait. This doesn't depend on my priority to the crosswise traffic. A special case of the priority road is the so-called abknickende Vorfahrtsstraße, in English, turning priority road. It is marked by this special additional sign, but we will deal with it in a special video. So, now you understood the system of the priority signs and so how easy it is to deal with them. See you in the next video and bye!